There's approximately 13,000 people in Salisbury. Our daytime population is a lot higher because we have a mall, we have Valley Hospital, which is our source of concern, and we have 20 police officers and a working chief and 2 secretaries. And we're a small department, but yet being so close to the city of Allentown, we deal with a lot of the city issues that either come in because of they get chased in, or, as I said, with the trauma center, it's the only level 1A trauma center in the area. If you're shot, stabbed, burned, something happens to you, you get flown in or driven in within a 100-mile radius. So, hospitals have either got good news or bad news there, and that sometimes leads to problem for the police department. It's a large complex. It's around 6 million square feet, and they employ 10,000 people, like I said. So it's a city into itself that we have to deal with sometimes only, 3 or 4 guys on the road. So it's certainly a challenge. Going through my training, I saw that there was a lot. First of all, patrol duties have changed, and we're responsible for a lot more. And that being said, the guys were lacking in training and tools. You can't expect them to go in and deal with these situations with no training, no tools. So fortunately, our chief is very progressive thinking. I went to him and said, "Hey, chief, we need to do something." He agreed, and we were able to get basic training for a lot of our guys. And being a small agency, we have to make do with what we had, but the problems still have to be overcome that a large agency has. And by getting guys prepared for a first response, we were able to handle that. And part of that I saw, even in the training that they were giving police, is they weren't involving the community. And they have to expect what the police are going to do. And there's a big gap there. They thought we were going to do X when we're really doing Y. So to make things go a lot smoother, that's why we went out and did more of a community-based outreach to the facilities we know that there's going to be problems at. And again, I said it met with some resistance because it's not touchy-feely. It's life and death, unfortunately, but we have to be able to face that and deal with it effectively. The hospital center was a good partner because they're busy and they know that there's going to be incidents there, and unfortunately there was some things that happened there, and that was really the turning point that made them realize that we have to do something. The point that I could show that makes I think a big difference in how police approach things to the fire department is, like I said, look at every public building you go into. There's panic bars, there's lighted exit signs, there's things that show that they did a good job educating. We don't have that, and there's a lot more police incidents that happen. So I think we have to get out there and as much as we have to train our guys, we have to train the community also. Lehigh Valley Hospital Center and Health Networks, and we first tabletopped with their security and safety department and got everybody on the same page. They realized, hey, this is what's going to happen. The first problem we realized is with any of this is getting from point A to point B in the hospital. Our guys don't have that place memorized. It is a maze, to say the least. So we had to figure out a way, hey, how can security get us to maybe at least a safe and secure point that they could back out and then let us go in. So that was one thing we had to overcome. And also the access, because there are secure areas that it's card coded to get in, and obviously we have tools to get in, but if something's going, we want to be expeditious. We don't want to be having to be beating on doors with rams and everything else like that. So we got access cards that are all entry access cards, and then we had the sit down on how we're going to do the actual event that day, and we did a banding system on who's going to be a role player, who is going to be an employee that wasn't involved but yet had to be in that area, and also how we've had signage set up. We didn't want some good Samaritan thinking that there's actually an active shooter and come in with his own personal handgun and stop it. So we had to have people posted at the area that we were going to do it to say, hey, no, this is a drill. And they had their own in-house email and kind of computer network that they were scrolling across and send emails out, hey, this is going on. And we also had a clear point. We had guys throughout the township that we responded that day as an actual event, and they said, okay, we're going to come in through the emergency exit or entranceway, and they cleared all the weapons to make sure that no one would go into the hot area with a weapon, and they were banded also. So we tripled the safety. Every person that went in had a safety personal weapon. The bad guy had a safety personal weapon, and we had actually a video guy go in and follow both teams, both the good guys and the bad guys. So we had a lot of redundancy built into it, And the staff was great because they knew something was going to happen there, and they were up for getting trained to see what would happen. How we started it off was we did a live fire of blanks. Well, I don't say live fire, but with blanks outside a loading dock area. And why we did that is we were curious to see how long it was going to take someone actually to make a phone call to say that there's a problem, because the hospital is a busy, bustling place. There's all sorts of stuff going on. It was forever. When's someone going to call? They were actually made entry and ran out of the airsoft ammunition. So right there showed us there's a problem if something happens, and somebody really wants, as the mindset to do something, it's going to be an issue, just for whatever, because, someone might not be hearing what happens, especially if they get into the loading dock we chose because it's the easiest way that someone can sneak in, So that was something that was really, truly eye-opening for us, that the potential for there. And the lag time from when the first shots were fired until the police got there was almost 17 minutes. That's an eternity with an active shooter event. Most of them last 4 minutes and they're done. They're doing what they're going to do, and they'll either shoot themselves or get out of the building or something else like that. So, and I'm not sure there's a way you can overcome that in a building like that. I think the death cards we handed out were over 50. I forget exactly what it was, and the rest were injured. So the result was a huge learning curve for both the police and the hospital. They were doing construction like the hospital is constantly doing, and there's a hallway that went nowhere. That there's people that were stuck in the hallway. There's doors that weren't open in years that were painted and rusted shut, and it was a real eye-opener, in addition to how when they locked the building down under their key access, that nothing would open to any of the doors. So, and that's stuff you're not going to find out sitting at a table, or if there's somebody, what could have went wrong that they did, and it was a good thing that we did. Our guys, we lost our rear guard. We're supposed to keep a 360 when we're going in, so you have, a rear guard, nobody can sneak up behind you. One of the security guards actually got so into it, he ended up going into the back of the stick, and then our guys thought it was one of us, so they never even checked. So there's a security guard right in the middle of the thing going in, calling stuff out, until at one point we realized, like, hey, get out of here, But that's what is going to happen. You get tunnel vision. They realize they have a job to do, and it was interesting to see. So, and what was good about it is we all sat down and had an after incident critique in the same room. We went back and forth. There was no hard feelings, and we got a lot out of the day. And I think it was a plus because, like I said, no other hospital has done that while they're open for business. So I think that's a little feather in our hat that we did that, and we were able to accomplish it and got some good feedback out of it. Things went so well there. We were asked to actually do that program in Bethlehem and in Allentown to get their police departments up to what we did, and it worked out well because what the hospital, their thought process and all of us involved now is that we know what's going to be expected of us when we go to the hospital. So all three departments now have kind of a mutual aid understanding. If something happens, all three of us will respond the same way because we know what we're dealing with at each facility. So that was a big plus for us. I was very excited because when I saw it was for smaller agencies, it's always, we seem to get pushed to the bottom of the pile. So for me to come and give my ideas, what worked for us, we tried many things and say, hey, this is what you might face in your own department. Limited guys, you're gonna, it was really striking. I went on the website of a lot of departments before I came here, and I saw, wow, we're very close in population, very close in numbers of officers, So for me to exchange the information that I did some research on, did some training on, and maybe they don't have to go through it, and I could help those guys through a bad situation, was real. It was very exciting that I was able to get here and do that, and hopefully someone benefited from me saying the stuff that I did. I really think that this is a great venue for small guys because we always seem to get the short end.